Hey, this is TV Fire Image Folded Money. I want to give you a real review of the 90D. As of now, this is being filmed on the 80D with the 24mm, which is great. So, I got both of them, the 80D and the 90D. The 90D packs a punch, and as you see, I have a nice little lens on it. Nice big lens. By it being a crop sensor camera, I don't feel like people giving it the respect and review that it should have. Now, I have kitted it out with the battery grip. I didn't know that the battery grip actually took 2 batteries, but no cap, no scrap. So, with that being said, let me tell you, the 90D shoots a 4K at different frames, and practically some people don't have the updated 90D to tell you the real frames that it shoots. I do. So, I'm finna tell you now, it shoots 4K at 30, 4K at 23, and it also shoots full HD at 59, full HD at 29, full HD, and that's a down version, and then just full HD, right? So, like I say, they don't have the update, so I don't see how people is missing the power of this 90D. So it does shoot at a high frame for slow-mo, and it also has a movie cropping mode. Would I use it? Not for sure. Maybe for small advertisements or whatever, that probably would be great for some small advertisements. A crop 4K give you the zoom, and most of these modes turns the sound off, so you got to be careful what you're doing. But far as the 90D, I say with the 90D and the battery grip, you really have a powerhouse in your hands. Now the 80D was great for what it does, and this lens practically can connect to both of them. It's an EF mount. I put an EF mount on here. I got another EF mount, which is the 50, and then everything else is like a STM, but that's fine. It's an APC camera, an APC lens, cool. But particularly this lens actually goes from 170 to 300, but on a crop sensor it's a 112 to a zoom of 480. I still don't think they really give this camera the appreciation that they need. Now let's talk about the video on this camera. It's awesome, it's great, but just remember, if you really want to do video, buy a video camera. If this is not suiting you, most of these are just DSLRs that just makes memory. They're not really designed to shoot an entire movie, but they can. You can get away with a full movie with this camera. A full HD or a full 4K movie and video with this camera. Even with the 80D, it shoots 60 minutes of full high definition video. So I love the 80D also. And right now I am connected to wireless mics. So I got one turned off. Okay, you probably hear me better now, but I don't feel like most people give a review of the 90D and give it its credit for what it does. And I always say, if you want to shoot a decent video, buy you a video camera. Don't brag and down what they have created for, you know, regular players who may not can afford a real video camera, such as a Red or Blackmagic new box they just made out, you know, or Blackmagic Pro for that instance, you know. So you can't base this off of a real video camera. You just can't. But the 90D, far as low light, I've taken it out. Only thing I find bad about the low light images is it's best to use a tripod, especially with this lens, because, you know, trying to be still with this lens and take a night shot, you might get a lower exposure than you want, and that's really gonna, you know, irritate you. So which with a nice little tripod, you can take a nice, beautiful picture with the 80D at night, low light. I've worked magic with this. I only had it for at least a month. Man, it's not even been a month yet. Totally just got it. Am I having a blast with it? Oh my God. I'm having so much fun with the 90D until where I need a sling to keep both of them on me. So that's my next purchase. I'm going to purchase me a camera sling so I can have them both on me. Because honestly, I would never leave my 80D out of this conversation or the images. Now it does have a 24 megapixel sensor. This has a 32. I upgraded because I wanted to play with it also. Whether I send it back or not, it's totally up to me. But it's definitely purchased. They didn't loan it to me. Thank you, Anorama. Thank you, Anorama, for my purchase. I purchased all this from Anorama, and Concord Credit Union gave me a loan. So I would like to give a shout out to Concord Credit Union, and I would like to give a shout out to Anorama for everything. They are awesome. They are amazing. They allowed me to purchase a tripod. I purchased a new camera bag, and I purchased the Nifty 50 again because my Nifty 50 got wet. So after this video, I'm going to show you a couple images that I have pulled from the 90D, and they'll just be only images from the 90D. Like I say, if you're really into video, I say you should get a real video camera and not try and push this to the limit. Now, it doesn't run hot as I've seen yet. I haven't seen it run hot yet, and that's awesome. You know, I haven't been in extreme temperatures, and I don't really plan on being, but when it gets around 70 degrees in my area, I'll try and shoot 4K and see if it actually gets hot. Now, when it comes to the 90D, because of the 4K, you might want to get a different memory card, and I'll show you the difference in memory cards. First of all, I show you the regular memory cards. Now don't get me confused that these memory cards do work for it, but here is a regular memory card here. Okay, and then if you look on the back of it, it's only got a few of the gears on it. The ADD is having a problem seeing. I might be too close, but it only has a few gears on it. But the card I actually bought actually writes faster. But this is a class 10 card. So you always get a class 10 card. But because the 90D takes a UH2 from Anorama, I was able to purchase one. And I put one in both cameras. Although I could just keep it to the 90D. But that means the 80D will get jealous. But these cards, I won't throw away. I won't give them up, for the simple fact that they are still usable with the 80D, and they still usable with the 90D. I haven't seen it cut out or short circuit because I was using one of those cards. The buffer definitely is different than with this card and then the other card. And I do want to let you know that this thing does not shoot 11 frames per second. But for some reason, it depends on your ISO. Every time I change the ISO in here, the number of images that I actually get fluctuates. So now right here at a high burst, I can get 21 images clean. And it's in hyperdrive. Let's see. Now that was not 11 frames per second. So like I say, I do not believe they give this camera the credit that it deserves. Not the 90D. They don't give the 90D the respect and the credit that it deserves. It's a premium camera. It's a monster just like the 90D. The 80D and the 90D are both built well. It's weather sealed. I love the 80D for what it does and how it maneuvers. And you know, you talking to a person who came from a Rebel brand of cameras, not shooting 6D Mark II, or I didn't even know about those 6D Mark II, 7D Mark I, 7D Mark II. Had no idea any of those existed. Only thing I wanted to do was take great pictures and catch a couple videos. So I bought the T7i, which did what most of these do with the 45 autofocus points, and it had the same sensor basically as the 80D. It even did a great video such as the 80D. But me personally, I broke it. And when I broke it, I seek to replace it. When I replaced it, I tried to replace it with the 8Ti, even though I knew that it had a rolling shutter. And I just wanted to shoot video because now I'm a news journalist. So I just wanted to really get some good video in. And AM Full HD is basically what they're accepting. They're not really accepting 4K, but if I can get a clean 10-minute 4K out this thing and send it to them, I will. I definitely will, because it's only 10 seconds each shot. And with this lens, I can easily zoom in, get my 10 second shots, 10-minute shots, whatever I need, and actually send it in to them. And it doesn't hurt me to pull it off the 90D. It doesn't hurt me to pull it off. It doesn't fill my phone up. I don't feel over pressured because I'm drawing it off the camera. I don't feel like, you know, I'm taking a lot of time to pull it off the camera. Matter of fact, I just be right on point. By the time I pull it off the camera and send it in to my people, hey, it's all good. It's all great. This camera is awesome. Is it worth buying? As of today, it's definitely worth buying because you don't have all the AI technology in this as you do the mirrorless cameras. To me, the mirrorless cameras have too much AI technology and they're not getting their full shots. They're getting like 300 pictures, and I'm getting way more than that with the 90D. And I'm getting more with that with the 80D, more than 300 shots. Matter of fact, with the battery grip, I end up getting 2 batteries. So I know I'm getting more pictures than a mirrorless camera. Only for the simple fact that I don't have the EVF. I like my Printemps Prism. I love it. My Printemps Prism, I love it. Optical viewfinder, I love it. It doesn't strain my eye. As you see, I wear glasses. And looking at that screen all day trying to take a picture would probably put strain on my eyes, as I've tried to use it at Best Buy, and I went a couple places to try and, you know, visit it and try and use it. I do appreciate it showing the picture in real time, but some of those features I really don't need. Car tracking, human tracking. Look, the 80D is tracking my face right now. The 80D. Now, this does have a small AI technology in it, such as eye tracking. It does have manual focus peaking. The interesting about the manual focus peaking is you could change the color. But I'm so used to correcting myself to where I put it on blue. I was shooting a 120 frame per second video, and in the camera I had it linked to the phone, but I had the screen on also, right? So when I manually focused it, it turned blue. And the only thing I could think of is, oh my God, I got chromatic energy in the whole video. But it never showed that on the phone. So I had to figure out what actually that was. That was it telling me that by me manually focusing it, when it turned blue, I actually had it in focus. So it does have manual focus peaking. Any other thing other than peaking like that, I don't know, you peeking around the corner, that's too much. But it does have manual focus peaking. And this lens right here, this 700 by 70 by 300 millimeters. It's a premium lens. I like it. I mean, I know the L lens may do better than this. It may, but with this lens and this reach and this ability and how it just connects and feels good in my hand with this camera, I gotta say it feels better on the 80D because of its weight, but because I got the battery grip, I gotta honestly say it kind of balances itself out. So, you know, walking around with it, and trust me, you gotta buy the lens hood separate. You gotta, yeah, that was disappointing. My Tamron lens actually came with his lens hood. That was great, but this one you had to buy it separate. So thanks, Canon, for making me pay more money than I needed to, but the lens hood is great for it. Snap it on. It didn't really come with any instructions, so I guess you got to figure out how to put it on. But I did learn how to put it on because it got these dots that line up with the camera. So if you actually put it where the lock at and slide it on where the lock really goes and twist it, it should say Canon at the top. And when it say Canon at the top, everything is pretty much lined up. You don't lose any speed shooting with this camera. It's great for daylight. It's great for video. It's an all-around camera. Now, I did go shoot some pickleball and tennis with this camera for sport. I don't use special modes. Like maybe you think maybe I put it in sport or anything. No, I never did. I shoot manual or I shoot with one of my custom settings. One of my custom settings is basically awesome. Now, the custom settings on here I was concerned about because every time I turned to custom settings, it seemed like it was in aperture mode. So I just had to really clear that out and then go to manual and hurry up and switch to my custom mode to manual. And I pretty much corrected it. It was kind of hard, but I pretty much corrected it. So my custom 2 is for 4K video, and they talk about C-Log and cinematic. And like I say, if you really want a video camera, just buy a video camera. C-Log and C-Log 3 and all that extra stuff and cinematic profile, none of that bothers me. It's not that it's serious to me. It's not that important to me. I'm still gonna make money shooting 4K, whether I power it up or upgrade it or however you do it. I do know how to grade. I do know how to color grade, but that's too much work when you in a hurry. That's like for doing an entire movie or something like that. It's not for a short film, sitting there taking notes and watching everybody else talk intelligent. You just recording 10 minutes of a video and you stopping. You don't, I'm a news journalist. You don't need a cinematic log for that. You know, they want too much in a DSLR or a mirrorless camera. They just want too much. Like I say, if you want a real video camera, buy a real video camera and leave my little DSLRs alone. Now, the future of mirrorless is not in my plan. My plan is that this will be the last DSLR that me and my company will actually purchase. After this, it won't be another one. I'm not interested in going mirrorless. I see what it could do, and to me, it is a big handicap. I don't need a handicap camera. I don't need a camera that's gonna do majority of the work that I personally like doing. Now, the 90D did come with a joystick on the back, and there's another battery grip I seen that has the joystick. I guess I didn't order the right one, or I didn't order that one. But you know, what I do have a problem with the battery grip is that it doesn't control your ISO. So you might find yourself coming here and control it, but I fixed that. If you hold this button here and roll the dial, I set it so it can adjust my ISO as I'm shooting vertical. What I love about these EOSs is the menu is basically spotless. It's basically innocent. I turned most of the corrections off, like far as, you know, the future guide and all that. I didn't need the, you know, I'm not really changing the dial between, you know, I'm only changing the dial between manual and custom. So I don't even use shutter or aperture. I don't use any of that. You know, I'm stuck. You know, I like to manipulate my images and make them look like I want them to look. So, you know, some modes I appreciate they on here, but I probably will never use them. Now, I did have a lens that was like, it adjusted its own aperture, and it was very long, and I had to use shutter speed with that lens. So that was something totally different, because it did its own aperture, and as I click it to the camera, you could see aperture at 0,0. So you get what I'm saying. It was at 0,0. So I had no choice but to use shutter speed, and I did get a marvelous picture out of it. I felt like the water was black in the background, but it brung the duck out, but that was fine to me. I just got to get more used to using that lens. That's it. But after this video, I'll show you some video of the 90D, and I'll show you a few pictures of the 90D and what I created with the 90D. You all have a blessed day. This is TB Fire Image Photo Money. This was not sponsored by anybody, but I do want to give a shout out to Anorama and Concord Credit Union.